Did ISIS leaders escape Syria with U.S. and British assistance, or was this a humanitarian effort gone awry? RT's David Miller examines a report detailing the battle in Syria to rid the world of terror.
When does the U.S. law of war go against its own well-being, including on a global scale? This question is no more prominent than ever in the fight against ISIS at home and abroad. On Monday, U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis argued that the UN allows for the U.S. to attack ISIS wherever they may be around the globe, thus to prevent ISIS 2.0. Yet the Syrian Foreign Ministry is calling for the immediate withdrawal of U.S. troops in the country. And now the BBC is reporting that the U.S.-led coalition was reportedly part of a deal that allowed hundreds of Islamic State militant group fighters to leave the besieged eastern city of Raqqa. On October 10th, the Combined Joint Task Force for Operation Inherent Resolve released a statement that the Raqqa Civil Council, in conjunction with local Arab tribal elders, is taking a special interest in protecting civilians and preventing a significant humanitarian crisis. The coalition director of operations said, "We have a responsibility to defeat Daesh while preserving civilian life to the greatest extent possible." In fact, the Department of Defense Law of War Manual, Section 15.16.1, allows for the discretion of the neutral state in offering asylum to belligerent forces seeking refuge. On October 14th, the task force released a statement that a convoy of vehicles is staged to depart Raqqa under an agreement brokered by the Raqqa Civil Council and local Arab tribal leaders during an October 12th meeting, under which the agreement included that the people departing Raqqa are subject to search and screening by Syrian Democratic Forces. The task force also insists that the coalition was not involved in the discussions, but would save innocent lives. The U.S. is obligated, again by law, when possible, to notify civilians of pending attacks to prevent civilian casualties. The coalition was very careful also to announce that the U.S. does not condone any arrangements that allow terrorists to escape Raqqa without facing justice. And the BBC is reporting that the convoy included some of the most dangerous and most notorious members of ISIS, and despite reassurances from dozens of foreign fighters. And U.S. leaders are rejecting the BBC claims of a secret deal and points to said releases that were widely available, even on Twitter. So the obvious question is, what legal premise does the U.S. have in the battle in Syria? Did they know of the ISIS leaders on that convoy? Do we still have their location? Or has the U.S. helped in the spread of ISIS leaders beyond the Syrian borders? Questions that could have devastating answers for much of the United States in the name of humanitarian efforts. Reporting from Washington, D.C., David Miller, RT America.
Now to Iraq, where security forces have reportedly found mass graves containing at least 400 bodies buried in an area recently reclaimed from the self-proclaimed Islamic State. That's according to an Iraqi official. The bodies of civilians and security forces were found at an abandoned base near the northern town of Hawajah, the governor of Kirkuk, Raqqa Syed, said. During 3 years of control under the so-called Islamic State, a local shepherd who led the troops to the site told officials the fighters were known for bringing captives to the area and shooting them dead or lighting them on fire. This comes as Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi released a statement saying the damage inflicted to Iraqi cities by the so-called Islamic State has exceeded $100 billion, particularly when it comes to the economy and major infrastructure.